This episode of the Savvy Agent podcast is your friendly reminder that conversations matter. And it's not the actual quality of the conversation, although I guess it could be. But my point is the quantity of conversations that you're having matter. And that's what's going to help you make or break your goal this year. So let's get into it. Welcome to the Savvy Agent podcast, where we help real estate agents build a thriving business so they have financial freedom in their life without having to work 24/7. I'm your host, Heather Wright. Now let's get to it. So here we are getting very close to the end of the first quarter 2023. And I don't know about your market, but my market is weird, where one day it's hotter than Hades. We've got people beating down the door to buy and sell houses. And then for the next 3 weeks, it's dead. Busy day, dead. It's very strange right now. Interest rates are up, interest rates are down. There's fear in the marketplace. There's all these things going on. Leads are down from online internet sources, but you still need sales. So what are you going to do? So then you might find yourself in the social media lead gen rabbit hole where you're like, oh, I've got to post on social. I need to do my reels. I've got to do this. I've got to go live on Facebook. Does anybody still go live on Facebook? All of these tools that we have available to us. And yet, and I do question for the people on my team, and I'm passing that on to you because I would question the amount of conversations that you're actually having. Doing the things is important. Yes, it is important to do the work to maintain a certain level of visibility so that people remember you, you're top of mind. They call you for their next real estate transaction or refer their friend at work who needs a realtor. But just seeing you on the internet isn't enough. You still need to have conversations with people. Conversations matter. You need to connect with people. And so start this week by tracking how many conversations that you're having. If you have a CRM, that's great. Log those conversations as calls. And I'm not talking about email. I mean, I guess I could be talking about email because I do have conversations with people on email, but me sending an email isn't a conversation. The conversations happen and the reply and the response and the reply and the response and the reply. Conversations happen when people are conversing with you on text, when you're on the phone, when you're having a conversation with someone on Messenger. And it doesn't even necessarily need to be a real estate conversation. So many people are just not talking to anyone. And if you're not talking to anyone, how on earth are they going to remember that you're a realtor because you did a reel 3 weeks ago? You're still working on your next reel? Like, that's not a thing. People aren't going to remember that. I mean, every blind squirrel gets a nut. So yeah, maybe that will work once in a while, but it's a bad overall strategy. You need a better strategy. And that strategy really needs to be focused on the people. How many conversations are you having each week? How many conversations are you having every day? Of all of the sales, the goals that you have, how many conversations do you need to have to get one appointment? How many appointments do you have to get somebody under contract? How many people do you have to have under contract to get a closing? And so when you work it backwards to how many conversations you have to have, that might give you a little extra boost on what to do with your day today. Should you really be focused on a reel? I'm not trying to be down on reels here because they're fine. I'm certain that they work really well for a lot of people, but I repurpose my videos into reels. I don't have conversations from those reels. People are not responding in my inbox, and that's okay. Reels are not a pillar for me to generate leads. Open houses is a pillar for me to generate leads where I can meet someone face to face. I know if I can get them face to face, they're going to like me. But just putting yourself out there on social media has its place, but it doesn't replace having conversations with people. So think about what you're spending your time on. And if it is not resulting in conversations and you're not meeting your goals that you set, paced yourself for the first quarter of the year, If you're getting a little bit worried about where your business is going to come from this year, start thinking about who you're talking to. Are you not talking to anyone? Cool. Now we know where to start, and think about where you can go to have those conversations. Go back to your business planning. We've got great resources here that have been past episodes on business planning where you can go dig a little bit deeper into what your goals are, where you intend to find that business, and then evaluate if those lead sources have actually followed through with what you expected them to this quarter, and base it on how many conversations have you been having. As you know, Zillow is a lead source for us, and our conversations for Zillow are way down. I mean, they were never like, for what I invest in it, we're like guaranteed, if that's really not even anything you can say about Zillow, but we're supposed to get 3 connection calls a month. I would challenge that, because those connections, if we are getting 3 connection calls a month, and that's something that I do in my quarterly breakdown, but if we're actually getting 3 connection calls a month, then I challenge the quality of those connections, or maybe it's the quality of conversations that we're having with those connections, because they're certainly not turning into sales. And so that's perhaps not the greatest example, because I know internet lead source, like they're just down right now because houses are selling so fast and inventory has challenges, so that they don't really have a lot out there to generate those leads on. But if you are not on pace for your goals, I bet it has something to do with the actual one-to-one connection that you're having with people conversation-wise. Because there are buyers out there, there are sellers out there, and they just may not know that you exist. And you might have to do a little bit extra work and extra effort this year to make sure that they know that you're not only an option, but you're the best option. So evaluate the conversations that you're having. That's the first step. Evaluate the quantity of conversations that you're having, and then look at the quality of those conversations, because there might be some skill sets involved that you can improve what you're saying to have a higher quality conversation. Maybe you sound like a newbie. I'm sure that you have a great, vast amount of knowledge, but if we practiced your confidence level and practiced, I hate to say practice your scripts, because I'm not really a script kind of person, but if you're messing up on the phone and you don't know what to say when people are asking you questions, those are things that you need to evaluate and listen to yourself and think, oh my God, I could have done so much better. Now, it's really hard to evaluate yourself. I get that. I think it's easy for me because when I was a kid, and if I came home from school with a complaint that, oh, somebody's mad at me, or I got in trouble, or, so-and-so said this to me, my parents would always be like, what'd you do? So they forced me to self-evaluate. And, this is self-evaluation, and this is not to shame yourself, but rather to reflect on areas that you could improve on. We're not all perfect. It takes a lot of experience and a lot of growth to get to the level that you're at now. But how can you get to the next level? Practice and growth. So evaluate your performance, both in the quantity of conversations and then in the quality of conversations, and identify where you might have some room for improvement, and then think about what you're going to do to get those numbers up. Because I think it's really easy to hide behind social media. The last couple of years, we've been encouraged to hide out at home. Well, it might be time to get back out there. It might be time to re-enter the real world and start talking real estate. Not even real estate, just start talking to people and letting people get to know you. And the conversation will naturally come around to, what do you do? I work in real estate. Oh, how's the market? And you know how that goes. Sign me up to be your buyer or seller, right? But having those conversations is the foundation for that success to follow. So good luck on that venture. If you would like some extra support in not only having conversations, but knowing what to say in those conversations, well, I've got a great resource, and actually I'll put it in the show notes here where you can download that. I think it's got 25 like conversation starter ideas that you can have with past clients and your sphere of influence. So that will get you started. But beyond that, if you would like some extra support with your marketing, with continued visibility and getting more exposure, not only for your business, but for your listings, and having an amazing marketing arsenal of graphics and materials that you can use in your business, then you should check out Savvy Agent Club, because we've got every aspect of that covered for only $37 a month. So once again, I'll link it in the show notes. I hope everybody has a great rest of your week and talks to as many people as you possibly can. Let's get those conversations going.